What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a little bit of a look at a bunch of new One Piece cards that have gone and been revealed that I'm kind of a fan of, and I think you should be too. And just like in the last video where we started off with a fairly uninspiring vanilla Trafalgar Law, in this video we're going to be starting off with a fairly uninspiring vanilla Kuro. Sorry about that. Although, now I've been reading the manga, I'm up to about issue 150, so you can, follow my progress along. I have, of course, come across Kuro now, and yeah, it's kind of nice. I'd recommend anyone that's not read the manga, I do think trying to watch the anime is going to take way too long at this point, but anyone who's not read the manga, it's kind of a good time now. We've had so many cards released that a lot of the characters will seem familiar to you, and then when new cards of those characters come out, it will be kind of awesome. Kuro's just your average, ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill vanilla character. 6 cost, 8,000 power, counter plus 1,000. It is East Blue and Black Cap Pirates in terms of its type or traits, so that might be relevant to some decks here and there. But let's not spend any more time on it. Let's move on to my favourite card that's been revealed in a while, Fu Jugong. Now, I kind of love this, and I kind of see why people don't love it. Firstly, we've got So-So artwork. Now, So-So or Sao-Sao, I think it's So-So. Regardless, this is an artist who's done a lot of work for the Pokemon TCG and crushed it. They've done a little bit of work for the One Piece TCG, which is kind of awesome. You may recognize the art from the Jinbei promo, which is very, very cool. So yeah, this is awesome, ladies and gentlemen. This is awesome. But it's also a really interesting card. 1 cost, 1,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And if you've got another Fu Jugong in play, aside from this one, this character gains blocker. I should mention, I am doing all the translations here myself, but I have checked with Russ Marrow on Twitter and with Orange Samurai D on Facebook, who's checked with the Discord, and I feel pretty confident about them. Yay! So what we've got here is another 1 cost blocker. And of course, we already have a 1 cost blocker in red, and we have actually done since the very beginning of the game, because of course in the very first starter deck, which came out before the first set, we had the 1 cost Tony Chopper, who I've just come across in the manga, and is actually kind of awesome. And here's the thing, Tony Chopper always has blocker. This does not always have blocker. This only has blocker if you've got another one on the field. That is a downside. But this has counter, whereas Tony Chopper doesn't have counter. And that is a gigantic upside. And please don't sleep on that. That's actually a really big thing. If you've played enough games of One Piece by now, you will have had a whole bunch of games that you won because you had just enough counter in hand, and you will have had a bunch of games that you lost, and if you'd have had one more counter in hand, you would have won, and you had a card in hand that didn't have a counter. You've probably come across that exact scenario many times. I have, and I'm willing to bet all of you have as well. If this last card in my hand had a counter, but it didn't, did it? And that's kind of my point here. That's why counter's so big. But then again, until you draw 2 Fu Jugong, you're not going to be able to grab this one out. And of course, we've seen red decks love playing Nami, who gets a Straw Hat Crew, which will include Tony Chopper, but will not include Fu Jugong, although there'll be similar cards that do the same thing of Alabaster Kingdom, etc. So, my point very simply is, yes, as a pure blocker, Tony Chopper is better, because it's always got blocker. And yes, as a counter, Fu Jugong is way better, because Tony Chopper doesn't have a counter. But also, one really important point to make here, red just became the first colour with 2 1-cost blockers. No other colour has that. Some colours like yellow and black don't even have a 1-cost blocker right now. I'm checking over on onepiece-cardgame.dev. If I'm wrong about that, please do correct me in the comments. So those 2 colours, the 2 newer colours, don't even have 1-cost blockers. And this could actually be very relevant. If you want to make a deck which is full of 1-cost blockers, you kind of can now, and that's awesome. But that's not the only card that was revealed in the past few days. We also saw the reveal of a new Cavendish. Black Cavendish, 5 cost, 6,000 power, no counter. And on X1, this character can attack active characters. We've seen a few of these so far, and this is a major advantage. It's a big advantage. Because the general rule of One Piece is you can only attack rested characters, which means you can essentially protect your characters by making sure that they're active. Well, now Cavendish comes along and like, oh, you're trying to protect your character, are you? Ha! Got it. And that's kind of the point here. Yeah, fine, you've got to put one Don on there. That's really not the end of the world. And as a fun little side note, if you put one Don on, you got 7,000 power, meaning that you attack a 5,000 power leader, they counter with a 2,000 character, tie goes to the attacker. So when you got one Don on, not only can you attack active characters, but it also means that if you choose to attack the leader, which I know is not the point, you will want to be attacking active characters, but you can go through the leader quite nicely as well. Gives you a lot of options. My point is, this is good. And then when attacking, you may rest your leader, KO up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 1 or less, and then trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. Now, oh no, you have to rest your leader. That sounds like a bad thing. Because of course, if you rest your leader isn't able to attack. Yeah, remember we got that new thing in OP-04 whereby we've got dual color leaders that aren't allowed to attack because they've got 5 life. Rebecca is one we're looking at here. A dual color blue and black leader, 5 life, but can't attack. So it's fine. It's all good. And incidentally here, you can see where the card designers are coming from. They've basically gone, oh, well, we've got a leader that can't attack, so now we can start looking at all of these skills that basically say you're not attacking with your leader, but it's fine because you weren't going to be attacking with your leader anyway, so that's not necessarily a terrible thing. Sure, trashing 2 cards on the top of your deck can be a downside. You might end up getting rid of cards you want later, boo, hiss, etc. But you KO a character that costs 1 or less. But again, and I'm sure most of you have already seen this, but, let me just say it out loud for those of you that may be newer or may have forgotten. The whole point of black decks is that they are reducing the cost of characters. So a great example is Ikuro from Paramount War, the secret rare, because that's got basically a permanent skill that on your turn, all your opponent's characters cost -5 less. Obviously, it doesn't make them cheaper to play, but it means when you look at them, they look cheaper. So all of a sudden, if we look at Cavendish here, you're not really KOing a 1-cost character. It's a 6 cost or less if there's a Kazan on the field. I think I said Kuro a minute ago. I clearly meant Kazan. And so, yeah, it's never really going to be a 1 cost, not if you're playing a deck full of black characters. So you get to KO one of your opponent's characters, and you get to attack active characters. And when this works nicely, you attack an active character, KO them, while KOing another character at the same time. Yeah. And bearing in mind that could be an active character as well, you can see why Cavendish could be absolutely redonk. And we've got ourselves, now at the moment this is the last one that's been revealed. If another one is revealed before I upload this, I will try and pop it in on the end if I've got chance. And what we've got here is Charlotte Babarowa? Babarowa is how it's properly in the katakana. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've been reading it and I haven't even got to these characters yet anyway. So there's a new Charlotte, alright? 3 cost, 4,000 power, counter plus 1,000. Dawn X1, if you have fewer life cards than your opponent, this character gains 1,000 power. But in the same way that black characters are constantly trying to reduce the cost of your opponent, what yellow special skill is basically manipulating your life, swapping the order of it and taking extra life, etc. So you can very easily have fewer life than your opponent. But then again, right, if you've got less life than your opponent, this is a 3 cost, 5,000 power counter plus 1,000. That is a generic vanilla character. Go back to actual Kuro that we looked at the start of this video. Vanilla characters have a power 2 more than their cost. 3 cost, 5,000 power, 6 cost, 8,000 power, etc. So that's nothing special yet. But there is a trigger. And the trigger reads, you may trash 1 card from your hand to play this card. So now it's a 5,000 power character, but it is for free, and that's kind of the point, ladies and gentlemen. That's kind of the point. And not for nothing, but this is a free cost character with a trigger, and then you open up things like Arlong, another character I've come across in the manga, Dawn X2, although it's a leader in here. When attacking, pay 1, play up to 1 character card of a cost of 4 or less with trigger from your hand. So now all of a sudden this can be played for free with Arlong. I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying that's the way you're going to go. I'm not saying you're even going to be playing the Arlong leader. What I'm saying here is that that's just one more option that you've got, and that's kind of my point here. Because you've got trigger, not only can it be played for free, which is a good thing, but then we've got other things like Arlong over in yellow, which are then going to lead to extra options, which is a very good thing indeed. And that's why I like this card. Right, there we go. For now, that's the last one that's been revealed. If there's any more revealed, I'll pop them in here. And then I want to hear from you guys, so let me know what you think about these cards in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. But by far, the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.